1 minute late, but I am here. I had to stop and get me some, not stop, I had to make me some hot tea real quick because I'm kind of chilly. And I feel like it's too late for coffee. I've already had 1 or 2 cups of coffee. So definitely some hot tea for the win to warm my hands up. I want to know in the comments if this, I'm sure you're watching the replay if you're watching this part because it's kind of soon. Comment below, are you hot tea or coffee? What kind of girl are you? Naomi just started taking piano lessons, and her piano teacher has quit drinking coffee as of like 2 or 3 weeks ago. And so she always has hot tea ready for me when I come in the morning. And it's been nice, which I say in the morning, like I go every day. I just go on Wednesdays, but we are going to teach you today just beginner level, as basic as it gets, some contour tips and tricks, things that I've learned that I'd like to pass along to you. And make sure as you're hopping on that you share the video, tag friends, comment, all those things. You know what I didn't do? I did not take a before. I like taking a before just because I feel like it just really shows. So let me take a before picture here real quick. 1 second. It's going to be awkward, but I'm just gonna, 1 second. Hey, Erin. All right, 1, 2, 3. Okay. All right. So I'm going to first, this is the moisturizer that is on giveaway display for this live right here. I really do honestly love this moisturizer. I use it with the Pomifera skincare. And when I say skincare, I'm talking Pomifera things, the skincare line from them that I love is the vitamin C. It kind of brightens everything up. And then their plump, which just kind of has hyaluronic acid, so it plumps everything. But this moisturizer, you squeeze it down and it comes right here on the top. And I just love it under my makeup. I noticed, and I wanted to say something about this on Sunday. But on Sunday, I was in a hurry for church, and I grabbed my makeup in my hand and ran out the door and put my makeup on in the car, which I typically always do. And I forgot to grab my moisturizer, so I had put my makeup on Sunday in the car on the way to church without putting any moisturizer on, which I didn't think would be a big deal. I mean, it's not like I've not done that before. But my makeup that day, I don't feel like I did not have a good makeup day. And I'm blaming it on the fact that I didn't use moisturizer first. I just feel like it just was like blah. It wasn't bad, but I could tell a difference. And I'm totally blaming it on not using the moisturizer. So make sure your skin is moisturized and ready to go for your makeup. All right. So there we go. There's that. And I like to let it soak in for a second. One tip too, if you are the winner of this, or even if you're not and you just get it, this, once you pump and you feel like it's out, you can twist this top off and like get all of it out. Some people didn't know that, and I'm sad for them because there's no telling how much was down in there that they could have just scooped out with their fingers. So little tip from me for that. All right, so I am going to just throw some foundation on real quick, but the main meat and potatoes of this video is contouring. We're going to just teach that, show that, because I think that not only scares a lot of people, but a lot of people think or have this misconception that, well, I need a lot of time to do contour, or I need to know what I'm doing, and you don't need to know what you're doing, and it does not take a lot of time. In fact, I feel like it takes, I mean, it really just probably takes maybe a minute, if that. So let's do my makeup here real quick. Let me see. And let's talk about brushes too. I know Miss Layla's just got her brushes in, so let's talk about those as well while we're here. And I'll show just a few tips as far as contour goes with those too. So this is the buff brush, Layla. This is one of the ones you have. So I will kind of show it first. So I'm going to use 3 foundation colors only because, do you guys see how I'm kind of like dark and red right here around my nose? But under right here, I'm lighter. I'm like dark and light in some areas. So I'm going to take this buff brush and I'm going to go into my darker color, just tapping a little bit, not a lot. And I'm going to take that just on those darker areas. Kind of like, you know, where the dark is dark and the light is light is where I'm going to place my darker and lighter colors. This darker color kind of camouflages my freckles, my redness. I call it a camo color because it just camouflages everything. And it may not seem like a lot going on right now, but once I get everything kind of mixed together, you'll see it really does. And so I just kind of tap. You do not want to swipe, and you don't need a lot. But this is just going to help hide all the all the redness and even freckles. I don't like to cover a lot of my freckles right here because I like them a little bit right here. It's kind of in style now. So I kind of like keeping those shown. But, and then I'm going to have a little bit of redness on my chin. So I take that darker color there. And then right here on my nose gets kind of red. So I just kind of take this buff brush and press that darker color. Hey, Christy! And I just press that all in, just like so. So I'm kind of just using this darker color mango as like a spot treatment. I have some like dark scarring right there, so I'm gonna take that right there. Kind of just pressing it into my skin in those dark areas. And then let's see. And I think that's pretty much everywhere I needed to like camouflage. So basically darker goes on darker and I'm just pressing that in. Now I could continue using this brush, but for the sake of me wanting to show Layla the different brushes, because she just got hers today, I'm going to show her this brush here is the blush and bronzer brush. It's got this fluffy end. So I like this brush too. I can just take it and tap it into my foundation and then kind of buff it in. I like the finish that this one gives because it just almost makes it look so smooth and flawless. Whereas this one here, I just use, gives more of a full coverage look. But this one, I just kind of tap and I just kind of start pressing. And then she did get one other brush, and I'll show you guys this other brush too, just because it's a common brush most people get as a beginner, as a newbie. And that way she'll kind of know. So let me pause on that one for a second and show you this other one. This other one's called the 3D brush, and it's the most popular because it's got this fluffy end for blending and the smaller end for like under your eyes or doing things like that. But you could use this brush the same way I'm using the fluffy brush. You can just tap it in. It is a little more dense and small, so it's going to give more like a little bit more coverage. But I like this one because if you're on a pinch for time, this brush right here can do everything. It just won't give you as much of a full coverage as the first brush we used because it's not as dense, but still one of my favorite brushes. So see how it just does that. So I'm going to go back to the buff brush though, because I do want to do kind of more full coverage. Because why not? Because we're going to do some contour. We're going to do, I don't know. I just feel like using a little more full coverage today. So just tapping this in. Just like so. And so this is just my foundation and my concealer. If you notice that there might be a spot that, like let's say because right now I'm kind of in between colors where I'm losing my like tan a little bit. If you need to go into your lighter color and do a little mixing, you totally can. You can almost create your perfect color all year long when you have three. Because you have like medium, dark, light, and just kind of blend into your thing. So I'm going into my concealer now, which is this lighter color. And I just like to take that in the center, just lightly. I just kind of like, it gives me dimension to my face, kind of makes everything not look flat, brings it to life. I'm going to flip this over, this buff brush, to the smaller end, tap just a little bit into my concealer, and take that on the inner corner and outer corner of my eye. Now I'm going to let that sit here a second and warm up and do the other side real quick. And then we'll blend it out. I think under the eyes is everybody's biggest issue. And my tip is not to use too much makeup. And don't go too light. When you go too light, it's going to just A, not look natural, but B, going too light accentuates fine lines, texture, wrinkles. And that's where a lot of people have those three things. So I'm going to let that sit there a second. I do feel like I have a hair in my eyelashes over here. I feel like this happens every time I go live. Like I get a cat hair or something. Yep, okay. So there's that. Okay, so I'm going to let that sit there. We're going to move on to the contour because this is this is the most fun part. So this is my foundation I just put on and used, just kind of lightly all over. Let me add, I feel like, let's add a little bit right there. Why not? Okay. And before I get going, do you guys see where I did the lighter and how, like, it just gives you, I don't know, I just love how it gives my face dimension. Okay, so here's my contour, here's my bronzer. So bronzer, if you can see, is a little more warm, a little more brown. Contour is a little more ashy. I do use indigo, which is one of the darkest, it's one of the darkest almost contours. And anyways, and that's what I'm going to use. So a few ways you can contour and a few tips I have for you. Number one, so we do have this brush called the detail brush. It's flat. It's great at contouring. And some people like to use this end for contour because it's kind of like small. But I like to use this flat end because it almost just fits perfectly against your cheekbone. Now, if you don't have this brush, not the end of the world. You can totally use your finger or you can use your brush. I think I'll use my brush just for fun to show you. So using this buff brush that I just used on my face, I'm going to take the edge. Do you guys see how it's kind of like got that little flat edge right here? I'm going to use that. Now this contour, I did just open it. So it's brand new. So let me kind of get it going here. But just a little bit's all you need. And what I'm going to do, if you're brand new, this is your first time doing it, you're going to feel for your cheekbone just to see. And we want to go right up against that cheekbone. Kind of, you know, this is my biggest pet peeve. Let me go put it on and tell you. My biggest pet peeve, and it's only because you don't know, and I didn't know either. People will do this and contour the middle of their cheek. You don't want to contour your cheek. You want to contour your bone. So come up just a little bit and go right against that cheekbone. If you go too low, like if I was to go right here where a lot of people do, it almost just brings your cheekbones down, and we don't want that. We want lifted. So right up against that cheekbone, and I kind of start at my hairline and come in no farther than my eye and just press. So notice I didn't do a super dark harsh line. I just did a nice little shadow there. And do you guys even see the difference it's made just doing that little bit? All right, and we'll blend that out a little more too here in a second. I'm gonna do over here, I'm gonna use this brush just for fun and just to show you. So I kind of take it at an angle so it gets on that flat edge. Like I said, this is a new contour, so I might take a few times to get it warmed up and going. But see how it's just right there on the edge? So same thing, but I'm just gonna kind of stamp it on. Just like that. And then what we'll do is we'll blend it up in a minute, just like this. So see, same thing, just this one's not blended out yet. And you can always add more or less. If you feel like you did too much, just blend it a little bit more and it'll blend it out. All right, so one other thing I will show you is if you want more of a longer face, like let's say more thin and long, see how I brought that contour kind of straight in? I could have brought it more down, like started right here and kind of down. If you angle it more down, it's gonna make your face look thinner. But see, I feel like me personally, I feel like my face is already kind of long and thin, that when I do that, it looks even more like long and thin. So I like my cheeks to look more full. So what I do is I will contour more in instead of down. And when I put blush on, I feel like it just makes my face look a little more fuller and not as long. So it's all an illusion. And that's something I want you to play around with. Even if you don't use this makeup, you know, if you use like a contour stick or a contour palette from Walmart or whatever, try these different techniques where instead of going straight in, try going down a little bit, you know, like from here down, and just see what you like best. With your face shape, you might like yours best going down. And then some people, and I sometimes will do this too, I should have done this first, but I didn't, is they will take, I'll do a little bit. They'll take a little bit of their contour and chisel out that bubble of their cheek. And that just accentuates that little bubble even more. You'll see it when I go to put my blush on in a minute. It kind of just gives it that more full cheek look. I did a video on that a few weeks ago and it was pretty cool because I did one side long, one side like bubble, and the difference was awesome. But when I go to put my blush on in a second, you'll see how that side here just really is more full. All right, let's move on to the forehead. The forehead really though is a no-brainer. I'm going to show you, and you can do all of this with your finger. You don't have to use a brush, so I'm going to do my one side of my forehead just to show you. Just take it into your contour, and you can do dots, or you can do a line, whatever you want. If you have a larger forehead, bring that contour down some and make that shadow a little bigger and thicker, and that will make your forehead not look as large. I feel like mine's pretty average, so I'm just going to take it right at my hairline and then buff it and blend it into my hairline. And this just creates that shadow right there. And you can even use a fluffier brush if you want. I usually use a fluffier brush. Let's see here. I'm going to move back to my brush and just show you. And then if you use a brush, just take it and buff it into your hairline. A lot of people will blend this out to where you don't even see it, which I did that in the beginning because I was scared. I didn't want it to really show. I was like, I don't want people to see it. It looks weird. But it really doesn't. It just looks natural, like a natural shadow, which you already typically have. All right, so for the forehead, another tip here. If, like I typically contour like this, if you can kind of see. And I'll keep right here bright. Now, that's because I feel like with my face being ovally, that just kind of suits me best. But if you have more of a, smaller forehead, you can bring that contour more smaller on the outer corners only. If you have a larger forehead, you can make it more, bring it down some towards the middle, and that will just help everything look smaller. Basically, you're going to contour the things that you want to eliminate or hide or make less of. It takes the eyes away from those areas. Does that make sense? See, I think I'm going to add a little more contour right here. And because this is cream, it just blends so well. So if you use like a contour stick, those are good because they're cream. They blend well. They look natural. I feel like the powder contours, I just don't like powder in general, but I feel like the powder contours just look fake. Like they're dry and flaky looking. It's okay to set with the powder, but I just don't feel like the contour powders look natural. I don't know. All right, so there's my contour on my cheeks and my forehead. Now for the nose. Contouring your nose, if you have a thin nose, you can make your contour a little wider. It'll make it look wider. If you have if you want it to look thinner, bring those contour lines closer together. So you may have seen all kinds of different tricks online. Like some people will say, use a brush and contour down the sides of the brush. You can do that, but I feel like you could easily do what I'm about to show you, or you could use your brush, kind of pinch it to where it's flat, tap it in there, and just draw each line individually. But I'm going to show you a cool trick. Take your finger, take it into your contour. See, it's right there. Mush those babies together, and then we're going to press. So, like, see how I'm pressing them together like that? So we're going to press them together, start at the tip, and go up and back down. And now I didn't do I didn't do a lot because I want to show you something else, but see how it just did those two lines down perfectly. Now, if you want to use a brush, like I mentioned, pinch it, press it, and then just draw that line down the side of your nose. It does not have to be perfect because you're going to buff it out anyway. Just like that. And if you want that bubbly end on your nose, some people like it to look kind of bubbly, take that contour and kind of just draw that little bubble on the bridge. And when we go to buff it in a minute, which I don't like that, but I just want to show you in case that's something you like. Do you guys see how that's kind of made the tip of my nose look bubbly? Like, I don't personally like that, but that's kind of a trend going around. And the icing on the cake to your nose contour is adding your concealer or foundation, just a little bit. And you can use a brush for this, but I'm using my finger down the center between those two lines. This is just going to accentuate that shadow even more. Now, I'm going to buff that out, obviously. But do you guys see how that just made my nose look so thin? Isn't that crazy? And I'm going to take a brush and just kind of buff those lines out. So there's no harsh lines. Boom. And then not last but not least, we're also going to contour our lip. So this is also real popular, especially on TikTok. Everyone's like, get the juicy lip, let's do it. So my biggest thing with that, well, let me do it first. So I'm going to take the small end of the detail brush. Honestly, you can use any brush. You can use this brush here, whatever you want, but I'm going to use the smaller end here. You can even use your finger if you want. All right. I'll use my finger to show you how easy it is. So take your contour, and we're going to just basically go right underneath our lip. Do you see how it already has like a little bit of a shadow? We're just accentuating that is all. So I always start in the middle and work my way up. And I don't contour all the way to like the corners, just kind of where it pouts. Now, I am so bad at forgetting to blend that out. So I personally don't do the contour on my bottom lip unless I am like going all out, because I forget to blend it out sometimes. But you just kind of buff it so there's no harsh lines. And boom. See how it's just, it makes it look more full. Isn't that crazy? But it looks so natural. Okay. And then last but not least, and this one I don't ever hardly do. Kind of like the lip thing, because I forget to blend it out. I don't know how many times I've been out and my husband's like, Becca, you forgot to blend. And I'm like, oh crap. And I did that so often that I just quit doing it, because I guess because I can't see it, it's out of mind, out of sight, out of mind. But that's contouring your jawline, your double chin, your neckline, whatever you want to call it, your décolleté. I have a lot of friends who do love it and who do it, but they remember to blend theirs out. So what you do, so there again, see how there's a natural shadow? We're just accentuating that. So let me get a brush here. I'm going to do the 3D brush. So you can draw a line with your finger and then blend, but I recommend just going straight in with your brush. And you don't want to go on the jawline, you go right here underneath it where that shadow already is. So my contacts are drying up. So take it right underneath that jawline, kind of at the ear, going under, and then blend down into your neck. So you have no harsh lines like I do. So do you see that shadow right there? And I could obviously make it more harsh if I wanted to. So let's do the other side for fun. Just gonna, I kind of pinch it to get it in there good. Starting at the ear here, going down, and just buff it in. Now when I do my bronzer, which I'll do here in a second, I usually bring that down my neck too. So I guess I do kind of always do it. I just typically use my bronzer in a way. All right, so in here. Erin, have you got to use the blow dryer brush yet? What do you think? I feel like with your hair being straight though, you probably didn't have the issues us normal people do. Like I can't blow dry my hair without that blow dryer brush. It gets fluffy and frizzy and out of control. Whereas with that blow dryer brush, it's like I'm round brushing it like a hairstylist does. And it comes out so pretty from the get-go. All right, so there is that contour on my jawline. So we basically contoured everywhere. Our jawline, our cheekbones, our forehead, our nose, our lips. Now let me give you, I'm going to do some bronzer too and some blush. I'm going to show you this blush right here. I kind of stuck my finger in it because I just threw it in there just before I went live. It's called Love Spell. It's one of our limited edition blushes, but it matches my dress and it is such a pretty color for fall. It's glossy, so you kind of see that like sheen to it, which I love the glossy blushes. Let's see it here. Oh yeah, look at that. That is so, so, so pretty. It's literally the same color as my dress. All right, I'm gonna put some on my lips. All right. Yeah, that's really pretty. The glossy blushes are a little more sheer and glossy. So it's not as like pigmented, which I kind of like. So that's it over here. Let's do it over here, but I'm using my brush. So the blush and bronzer brush is perfect for blush because it's fluffy. And you can use either end, but I'm just going to take this and tap a little bit. It's so pigmented, you don't need a whole lot. Like I probably have too much on my brush. So let's kind of disperse it. What is my dog barking at? Yeah, I like that color a lot for fall. So those who have like black cherry, this is similar to black cherry, but I think the biggest difference is there's a little bit of like sparkles in it. It's kind of a mix between black cherry and Sunshine State, maybe. I don't know if I compare those two. That is so pretty in it. So that's Love Spell, limited edition, just came out this month, and it will be here till the end of the year. So that is so pretty. I love it. All right, and then bronzer. We got to do bronzer real quick. So let me show that. I wanted to say, as far as bringing back contour real quick, before I contoured, I feel like when you contour, it takes people's attention and eyes away from the things that you don't like. So for instance, and I don't know if you noticed this, and if you didn't, go back and watch the replay. My under eyes, I really didn't do much to, but this one specifically is super dark. I don't know why, it just is. You can almost see it still even right here. But I did put a lot of makeup under there. And this is why. I've noticed when I contour my face, the attention is taken away from that dark under eye, and it's like, it's almost like the contour takes the attention away. Does that make sense? And the attention's put on other aspects of my face. And I think too, like, you know, the color, like color science, when you have a black and a white, it's like, because this is so contrast, it makes this look that much more brighter. Because this is so dark, that makes that look lighter. Does that make sense? I feel like I'm talking crazy. But when you get it, you get it. I don't know how to explain it, but the contrast between the two, because there's such contrast, it makes this look lighter than it really did from the beginning, and I didn't even really do much to it. That's what I'm trying to say. So contouring has helped me so much in that aspect. And even if I have like acne down here, which thank goodness that one from last week is gone, like even when I contour, it takes the attention away from my acne. I feel like even when I have one pop up, because it's like everything's just contrast between this dark contour and my lighter areas of my face. It's like I highlight the areas I want people to look at, and that's where their eyes go. So there's that. All right, and as you can see, it literally took me, like contouring was so fast, and that I slowed down, I talked about it. So when I'm just doing it, it's super quick and easy. So let me do my brows. I use an eyeshadow called Trust. So for those who have no idea what this makeup is, everything's customized to what you want, you need. It magnetizes right into your palette, just like so. So I made this exactly what I want. And this one right here is an eyeshadow that I use for my brows. So I use this little spoolie in here to brush these bad boys out, just like so. And then I use this little line end to put the powder on. So I'm just gonna tap that here. So if you've not seen this makeup before, it is game changer. It's so minimal. It's all cream, it's super pretty. But I love how everything's customized, so you can just put exactly what you want and need. And there's different size palettes too. So if you're super basic like I was in the beginning, you can get a small palette. You can get bigger ones. Just know, once you get started, it kind of becomes an addiction. And you grow that palette till you can't grow it no more. All right, I just start at the bottom of my brow and I work my way up to the middle. I don't do anything fancy or crazy, but it makes such a difference. And I use Trust. That's the color I use. It's just a dark brown. All right. And just a reminder, make sure you share. Sometimes I can't tell if you share, especially if you're a private, so make sure you comment that you shared in the comments here so I know. Sometimes I'll go try to see who shared so I can put you in the giveaway, and it doesn't show me. So there's that. Let's do a little mascara and we'll be done. Well, mascara and illuminator. Let me add some illuminator real quick. I don't think I brought it, so never mind. I did it. It's right here. I brought it. Let me use a brush for this. And while we're talking about the brushes, do you guys next week for the giveaway want it to be a makeup brush, or do you want it to be the Lange Sea and Salt Spray? So I used the Sea and Salt Spray this morning. It's basically just like a texturizing spray. I spray it after I curl my hair, and it just gives your hair like this textury, piecey feel, like you are at the beach. Or I have this brush here to give away. It's the 3D brush, which is what I used today. So let me know in the comments what you want to see next week as the giveaway. I'm going to use Photoshop Illuminator. Oh, that's so pretty. Do you guys see? Like the lighting today is perfect. Cloudy days give you the best lighting. Last week we did it and I feel like I think it was super sunny. And it makes the lighting look funky. So this is Photoshop Illuminator. It is a powder, but it is so pretty. Let me show it to you on the nose. I just put it right here on my nose. Do you guys see that like glow it gives? I love it. Okay, you can also put it right here, just to kind of highlight that Cupid's bow, just a little bit. Do you guys see that? Let me zoom you in a little bit. Oh yeah, look at that. And I mean, you could obviously not put as much as I did if you don't want to, but. And then I'm going to show you real quick too. You can use that as an eyeshadow. So I'm going to take a little bit of brown and just use this as a base all over. Just like so. And I'm just using a random brush, by the way. I love how everything's kind of universal with this palette. Like you can use so many things for different things. Like you could use your blush as an eyeshadow. Someone did that the other day that I saw. It was so pretty and I keep meaning to try it and I keep forgetting. She used a pink blush for her eyeshadow. All right, so there's just some brown basic eyeshadow. I'm gonna go in with Photoshop right here with my finger. I do this every time though, so this is nothing new. This is like my go-to daily eyeshadow. I just feel like it looks so fancy. My daughter and I were painting. So that's what we're painting we're painting pictures, but I'm gonna send them as letters to some different people at church who are sick or going through things. Hopefully it'll cheer them up. All right, so there we go. So pretty. And then mascara, and we are done. What do you guys think? Did you learn anything when it comes to contour? Maybe you didn't. I don't know. Maybe you didn't. All right, let me throw a little mascara. And while I do this, tell me what you want to learn next week. What do you need to know? What do you want to learn? I mean, I could even just ask, talk about something. Is there something you want me to talk about? What do you want to see next week? Otherwise, I'm going to just pull something random out of the bag. If I'm giving a brush away next week, I might talk about the brushes in detail. And if Layla, if you're still on here, after you use your brush today, if you blend it out and use it, if you feel like your color's too dark, let me know. I can always send you a different color. Oh my gosh, I got that under my eye on the house. So I don't mind a bit. One thing, and you may see this, if you mix your lighter and darker to lighten it up a smidge, if it is too dark, you may notice. Okay, let me back up. As a test, use your lighter color as your main color, and you'll see what I'm talking about. It'll look flaky, it'll look dry, it'll accentuate your pores. It'll just look, I actually made a video on that too, like 2 weeks ago, where it was like, if your color looks like this, and I swatched it on, you're too light. But I'll always try to go a little darker, because it's better to go darker than too light. If you guys notice, I used my darkest color on my dark cheeks because it covers best. Darkness covers darkness. But I also then used my lighter color on my jawline to kind of create this like perfect combo. There's definitely a learning curve, but it's fun. It's just makeup. Have fun. Play around. Alrighty. Sorry, y'all. Mascara for me takes forever. I feel like, because my eyes are so small, that I have to make my mascara look big in order to make my eyes not look, crazy. Maybe that's just me. I don't know. I'm a mascara freak. Okay, boom. Should I do my under eyes? I'm not one that typically does mascara on my lower lashes. There again, I just feel like it closes everything up even more. But my daughter the other day was like, you need to do that. I got mascara under my eye. And there's a cat hair or something. So let the mascara dry and then you flake it off with your little spoolie brush. Boom. Okay. Let's do it just for fun. Why not? All right, what do you guys think? I don't know that I love it under my eyes. I feel like it almost just makes, I don't know. Some girls I'll see use the mascara on the lower lashes though, and it looks so good. I just don't know that I like it for me. Heather, what is up, girlfriend? I rode my bike this morning, Heather. It wasn't the best workout because I don't even think I really broke a sweat, but it was hard. I tightened it up to where it was like, because I thought about you. You're like, push through and do it. You guys, if y'all have not seen Heather, she's commenting here, by the way. She is so inspiring, her weight loss journey. I'm amazed, and I'm so proud of you. She has such dedication and discipline that I do not have. But I'm working on it. This morning, I rode my bike. So, I'm really good about, I will ride my bike for like 2 or 3 days. And then I'll stop for about a month. And then I'll ride it again for 2 or 3 days. And I'm realizing that it's either now or never. Like, I need to get into a routine of it now before it gets too late. My mom always told me growing up, she was like, Becca, it's going to hit you out of nowhere. And by then, it's going to be too late. And I'm like, I'm there right now. I'm getting there. Oh, I don't know. I don't at all feel bad about myself. It's just like, it's coming. Like, I see it coming. And I see my clothes little by little getting tighter and tighter. And I just keep telling myself, it's going to be okay. I'll get rid of it. It's like, when, Becca? When? When are you going to get rid of it? I don't know. I'm adding a little more lip stuff to my lips. All right. That is such a pretty color. I've not used this much before. I'm not typically one for dark lips, but I'm liking how it's matching my dress. I usually go for the pinks. Oh, should I mix that? Let's see what it looks like mixed. Because this is a matte. It might not look good. Let's see. I don't know. I kind of like it dark. Anyways. Yeah, you are definitely an inspiration. I don't even know how people, how do you get the motivation to work out every day? Thank you, Heather. And it's not that I even hate working out. I honestly love being physical. It's just like starting's the hardest thing. Because once I'm riding my bike, I'm loving it. And like even like lifting weights. I love lifting weights once I'm there, but it's like starting. The thought of it. I'll tell you what. I'm going to tell you what I need to tell myself, whoever's watching. There's a book, and I haven't read it, but I've watched so many podcasts that I get the gist of it. And it is basically count down from 5. And once you get to 1, just do it. Don't question it. Don't think about it any longer. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Boom. Just do it. I did that. That's how I went live my first time. I was so nervous. My mouth was dry. I was shaking. I need to find it. I honestly was shaking. No joke. And my friend was like, just count down and hit live. And I was like, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, live. And then it went, and I couldn't go back. I couldn't turn back. And so I live a lot of my life in that of like, just do it. Okay. Take action. Go, go, go. But working out is just something I just can't get working out to be this. I don't know. I just can't get working out to be that way. One last story, and I'll go. My grandma, very overweight. So much overweight that I'd have to push her in a wheelchair when we went anywhere. Because she couldn't walk. Because her legs, they just couldn't hold her up. And I would tell you how much she weighed, but I honestly can't remember. And she passed away years ago. So, I mean, it was over 300 pounds. But she was short too. So, I mean, she was like, you know, anyways, my whole reason for bringing this up is I remember telling myself, I'm never going to let myself get like that. Not for the fact of looks, but for the fact of her life was such a struggle because of it. In so many ways. It was a struggle going out. It was a struggle driving. She couldn't get to drive because her belly would hit the steering wheel and it would rub her belly. Like, so it was hard for her to turn. So it got to where I would be driving her. Like I said, she couldn't walk. I would have to push her in a wheelchair everywhere. Which, there again, she'd have to get a special wheelchair because she was wide. Yes! Honestly, Heather, she may have been. I mean, I know it was over 300, but it may have been over 400. I can't remember, but she never did nothing about it, though. I mean, it got to the point, it was too far gone. Like, and then she got COPD, and then she passed away. But it was, I just remember, I was like, I'm never going to let myself get like that. So I have her as motivation, which makes it even worse, because it's like, what am I doing? I said I wouldn't do this to myself. But, because she wasn't always big. It just, out of nowhere. I don't know. It's wild. It's wild. I think because you live with yourself every day, you don't notice the changes until it's too far gone. Like, for me, I don't feel like I've changed. But when I try clothes on right now, it's like, oh man, those jeans are hard to button. Something's changing, and I just don't realize it. But yeah, I don't know. Yeah, Heather, it's hard. It's so hard, Heather. You need to, I love looking at your before and afters, but I would love to hear your stories too. She was on so much medicine, constantly taking her to doctors. Her legs would swell up and get blisters. And so I would have to wrap them with a wrap to keep them from swelling up and getting these blisters. And she would take water pills to keep the water from swelling up her legs, which would cause her to pee, but it was hard for her to get to go pee. So it was like this cycle of constant, like, her life was consumed by her weight because it was affecting her in all ways. So I even have her like in my mind, like, don't let that happen. But I mean, I say I'm not, but I'm not gonna let myself get like that. It's hard. Working out is hard, and dieting is hard. I'm big on one more won't hurt, this won't hurt, that one won't hurt, but man, it does. Oh, a failed weight loss surgery. Oh no. See, she didn't have a weight loss surgery, but she had so many other issues that had kind of come along. Like I said, her heart was failing, things like that. It just wasn't even an option. But to be honest, I don't even know if we would have had the money for it. Like, we were really broke. But, and I mean, it just all happened so fast. That sucks, though. Weight loss surgery failed. That would be scary. That would be so scary. Because then it's like, oh gosh, here comes an A. Mom! Naomi never got to meet my grandma. Kinsley met her, but she died when she was around 1, so Kinsley doesn't remember her. And I'm like, my grandma was the nicest grandma ever. She literally did anything I asked that she could do, you know. But back towards the end, when she couldn't walk well, she would take us to the mall, because we would ask to go to the mall, you know, girls, me and my sister, or to Walmart or wherever, and she would just sit in the car and say, take your time. And we would go in there and just browse or shop or do whatever. We typically wouldn't shop because, like I said, we were broke. But we would go window shopping, and she would just sit out there. Which, she would sit out there because she couldn't walk. So she would just sit out there. When we got back, we'd go home. Like, she would do anything we asked. I kind of feel bad now, like we took advantage of her. But I guess that's what grandmas are for, right? All right, I gotta go. Well, I don't have to go, but I'm gonna go because me and Nay have some bread that we are making. It's rising as we speak. Like, it should be done right now. So we're gonna go check on the bread, make sure it's risen, and if it has, bake it. Hopefully it's good. All right, you guys, share this video, like and tag some friends so you can win the moisturizer. It's amazing moisturizer. And I'll send that out to you Saturday when I wake up bright and early in the morning. So you enjoy your day too, Heather. Thanks for hopping on. I love you guys, and I'll see you next Friday for a new giveaway for a makeup brush. So bye, guys.